1954, a simpler time.
Dodgeball is a sport of violence, exclusion, and degradation.
A more innocent time.
Make sure you pick the bigger, stronger kids for your team. That way, you can all gang up on the weaker ones.
Oh, you're out, Shawn Windsor!
Dodgeball!
You asked interrogative questions out of my face. It's gone.
What are you doing? Come on.
That is not paid for by them. That is paid for by the people of Detroit.
You might be qualified, ML.
I'm not qualified for this job.
Let me tell you something. You want to go right now? Okay? You want to go right now? Hey, kids, it's your old pal, ML Elridge. And, you know, I sent this intro to Marc.
Yeah, confused.
Because I said, I'll explain it when we get on the show. And he was like, I think we already did this intro. And I said, I'm not sure we quite did it. He said, no, I'm pretty sure we exactly did it. And I said, well, spoiler alert, I don't remember because I got hit in the head with a wrench on Saturday. And he said, what? And I said, yeah, I got hit in the head with a wrench. And he expressed no real concern. He's just like, okay. Sounded like he said something like,
well, you're not in the hospital. I assumed you were fine.
If
you would have told me if you weren't fine.
If I heard you right, I think you said it sounds like justice.
Wait, so this happened on Saturday?
You can, if soulmates will see it. Let me see. I can never get these cameras right. I got this crease on my dome because
let me zoom in here.
We were walking to the game.
Wait a second. That's not from when you came down the canal?
No, it's right. Right there.
I'd be worried about this part.
That's always been there. That's just from you coming down the canal,
That's
right?
just advertising space. But we had a lovely tailgate there. Welcomed Wolverines and Spartans alike. Shawn stopped by.
Really?
Gave him a tour of one of my properties. I'm actually going to tear it down and build a ballroom. So that should be
just the east side of it.
Yeah,
just to update it, modernize it.
It won't touch it. Don't worry.
Yeah, exactly.
Modernize it.
It's Jeff Bezos has helped me out. He sent me something, but we're walking to the game, and of course, when you have a 7:30 game on a beautiful day, and it's a rivalry, and the Wolverines come into town smelling themselves because they think they got this one locked up. That is a tinderbox. So
that's why so many people I know would never go to that game. What was the makeup of the crowd? Was it because you
were a fair amount of Michigan fans?
It was 50-50 in the stands, and shame on you Spartans who sold your tickets.
I don't know if it was
50-50,
but it was. That's the most Wolverine fans I've ever seen at a Michigan State.
I saw some
noise-wise, it was 50-50.
Yeah, for sure, noise-wise.
I saw some.
Unless we scored, then they were real quiet. Once they got up by two scores, like, oh yeah, we're great again. Oh no, we might lose. Oh no, don't say anything. Oh, we're great again. I mean, very typical. Very typical
of any football game.
No.
Marc's right.
Oh my God.
Marc's right.
I thought it was really funny because people were mad. There was a shot of Sharon Moore, kind of doing this to the crowd.
Oh yeah,
like make some noise, and people were like, he's taunting the crowd, and then it was pointed out very quickly that that's all Michigan fans sitting behind him, and probably in that whole section. So
yeah, and as far as that stuff goes,
and who cares anyway?
He
wasn't giving the finger to the crowd; he was trying to get them pumped up.
Yeah, and I'm not a Harbaugh fan, but when he was first coming to Spartan Stadium, the student section, it was just F Harbaugh over and over again.
Sure.
Not a real clever cheer. Not real classy, but that's what happens, and even Sharon Moore doing the, not Sharon Moore, Underwood doing the Paul Bunyan pose.
That's been done before.
Yeah.
During one of the worst games he's ever played and fumbled. That didn't even bother me because that's just feeling the rivalry. That's trying to stoke the fires. That's fine.
It wasn't a tinderbox. I'm going to push back.
Did it too.
I'm going to push back. It wasn't a tinderbox at all. I made that same walk probably a half an hour before you did. And all I saw was the thing that I usually see when I'm up there for that game, and to some degree even I see in Ann Arbor for that game, Michigan State fans hanging out in the same tailgate, drinking together, eating the same food together. It was convivial and a little muted, frankly, I thought. I mean, the game was kind of, right? There wasn't even that much.
It was pretty lousy.
There wasn't even the usual
Shawn,
sort of, I don't know, extracurricular shit that goes on with that game.
If you listen to last week's episode, and I know you did, you noticed that neither Marc and I were trying to big time it too much because I think we both felt that
nobody cared.
Michigan was probably going to win, but the game was somewhat in the balance because, as I wrote on X after the game, I just saw two really bad football teams and only one fan base that really understands.
One
how bad
mediocre
their
team and
is.
one bad team.
Yeah.
And the bad.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
I'll push back on it, and you're probably going to say I didn't realize. I think Michigan is poorly coached. I don't think they're a bad team. I think there is a shitload
They're
of talent on
average.
that team.
80
I think they're above average.
8 for 17 against the worst defense perhaps in the country. Certainly the worst secondary.
How many times do you throw the ball in the second half?
Well, that's your whole game, right? We're going to grind it out. But I mean,
that was my problem with it. It's like they didn't really give him a chance to read anything, and a lot of that is on Underwood. He's very uncomfortable in a pocket still, probably because they're not the best pass protecting.
No, the offensive line is
Well,
not that great.
I'll-
But
I'll tell you,
they're a good run blocking team.
if it hadn't been for
100%.
that fumble that got called back, you would not have been running the ball in the second half because we would have had
Maybe not.
a tie game.
Maybe not.
Or States up. That was a game changer.
I don't know
State's
about that.
defense was actually decent. But look, we don't want to bore our listeners with
But
the
so
breakdown. of that
here's what I
game.
wanted to tell you. I'm walking to the game, and there's a kid on a corner, a Spartan, holding a crescent wrench and screaming at some kids who are coming out of the back of a yard
That's nice.
of another tailgate, mostly guys wearing Michigan gear. And they're talking some shit to each other. That's the way it works. And he's standing in the corner and he's waving at him like, F you guys and all this other stuff. I'm like, okay, let's keep moving, guys. Keep moving. I'm with my family and some friends. We're like, let's go to the game. Let's go to the game. And then this guy's, waving his, come and get some and grabbing his crotch and stuff. I'm like, son, that's not a smart idea. There's a lot of them. There's just you. And he's like, that's why I got the wrench. I'm like,
Did you call him son?
Jeez.
no, I think I may have called him little bitch, but we'll just move on. Not important to the narrative.
Oh, it's actually
And
really important.
so these guys start running at him because he waved him on. And so I get in front of these Wolverines, all young guys. I'm like, hey, guys, come on, forget it. Welcome to East Lansing. We don't need this shit. And they were pretty cool. Every time, there were like 7 of them. Every time I'd get one of them chilled out, then of course there's some joker who runs around the corner who wants to run after this kid. And instead of this kid running, as he should have done, he's just standing there waving the wrench. So I'm kind of holding back the blue wave here, and we're making some progress. And then this idiot with the wrench just keeps egging him on. And then, my family's between me and this kid who's behind me now, and they're trying to chill him out. And then my daughter's getting kind of close to him, trying to calm him down. He's got the wrench up above his head. So at that point, I'm like, okay, don't raise your hand around my kid. So I go in there to grab, and I get hit in the head twice with a wrench. But luckily, it was mainly with his closed fist with the wrench in it. And the second time he hit me was on top of my head, and I was wearing a fleece cap, so it didn't hurt that much. But then we go to the game, and this kid, I guess he just jackrabbed it. But then the Michigan guy's like, "Sir, we didn't mean for that to happen." I said, "You assholes, you're running after this guy. What do you mean? You're trying to have a fight?" And they're like, "Well, we already beat his ass earlier." So you already won. Let's go to the game. Like, well, can we go to the game with you guys? I'm like, you can walk with us, but we don't want to hang with you idiots. You're as bad as this other idiot. But it was just one of these things where, listen, when people come to your town, treat them right. Don't be an asshole. And if you want, you can be like me and charge them $40 to park at your house. Sure. But and my daughter was concerned about this kid with the wrench, and something might be wrong with him, and and he needs help and all of this stuff. I'm like, yes, I understand that, but never ever get within striking a distance of somebody with a weapon. And second of all, I don't want anybody to get hurt. But if anybody deserved a beating in East Lansing that night, it was this kid. 1-on-9, swinging a wrench, jackass.
Yeah.
But it was.
Are you okay?
Yeah, it's fine. We went to the game. It was great. Had some fireball. And
I'm glad you're okay, but I want to know why you don't park your whole yard, like in Ann Arbor.
can't.
Really?
Yeah, in East Lansing, they'll ticket you.
Oh, because in Ann Arbor, in that neighborhood, they fill their yards up with cars.
If I could do that, I'd tear down the house.
You wouldn't.
I mean,
you wouldn't be passing out free cornbread and chili.
You saw how big that yard was.
No, it's huge. I
Yeah.
was like, God, you're giving away food instead of charging people
my
for
rent.
parking. It didn't make any sense.
What's the rule?
You can't park on a lawn. It's against the local ordinance.
No lawns can bark.
No lawns. Nothing.
That's
Nada.
stupid.
Not even for tailgating?
Why?
No. Well, I mean, you saw we had some people pulled up on the. What happens
Can you park in a backyard?
if enforcement comes by? Then they tell you get out. I don't know, behind a fence, maybe they wouldn't get you. But most of the houses there, they're not set up like that. You know, where you pull in the back. But we went to the game. It was a beautiful night. I thought it was going to be cold. Started out well. Childs fumbles on the third possession, but I thought it was an even game. I've been in the house before when there's a lot of Michigan fans, and it's
not an even game.
They get really obnoxious, but everybody kind of minded their P's and Q's. You know, you get the stupid. It's great to be a Michigan Wolverine crap, but
chanting and.
No, I know. For $30 million, you can say what you want, but it was
That really bothers you.
It was a beautiful night. It was supposed to be cold. It was a beautiful night. Everybody inside the stadium behaved. Everybody stayed through the second half. I thought all the drinking, close game that the student section was going to empty out.
I'm sorry.
But it was, the quality of football was not there. But in terms of a Michigan State rivalry game, and I don't like when we lose.
Lame.
You want to have a game where every possession counts and where the game could go either way, and that's the kind of game that I like.
There wasn't many. There wasn't many.
Terrible game.
It was not a one possession game for most of it. The second half.
It was a one possession game for most. We spotted you guys a field goal.
I never thought we were going to lose. I'll just put it that way.
There's a phantom pass interference when Underwood throws it into the stands. They missed the offsides call. There's some spotty, some very dicey officiating, which I'm not blaming the officiating. When you have a good team, you can overcome the officiating. When you're not a good team and you need a break.
They were too poorly. I mean, Michigan gave State every opportunity to be in that game. And never once did I feel like State was going to take advantage of it.
They couldn't.
I just never thought that.
Let me tell you.
Yeah, Michigan was trying to give them the damn game.
They absolutely were. But then I was like, okay, well, they're not going to do anything with it, so just keep running the ball.
Some of your fellow Wolverines, including a couple guys who looked like they were from that Guinness Book of World Records picture on the mini bikes, they were were worried.
Nice body shaming.
The only reason
I say that.
Cheap shot.
The only reason I say that is because they're looking over at us like, you're crowding us. I'm like, pal, I'm not going to say it.
Why are you looking down on Michigan fans that didn't go to college at Michigan?
What makes you think big fat guys didn't go to Michigan?
That reminds me of a piece that Fox did for social media.
By
the way, who gives a shit
Do you remember
if you
that?
went to the school or
Do you
not?
remember
If
that
you're a
piece?
fan, you're a fan.
Yeah,
Fox
I don't
actually
buy
did a
into
piece
that
on
either.
it a month ago where they went around.
Anybody who wants to
at a
cheer for
Michigan
Michigan
game,
State's
and they
okay
said,
with me.
And they went to.
I saw it.
Did you see that? I didn't like that at all.
Why?
Because it's classist. It's looking
very
down,
classist.
and it's ridiculous.
My favorite
schools couldn't survive like that if they didn't have those fans. There are not enough alumni.
You know who paid for everything at Michigan? The guys who bought blue and yellow because of Don Canham, because of the marketing department.
No question.
Television.
Yeah. I mean, they were like
yes, of course.
With the Lions struggling as long as they were like the pro football team in the state. That's why they've got 75% of the.
What I don't like about it is am I not
football fans in this state?
Am I not allowed to be a fan of, say, UCLA? Or am I not allowed to be a fan of Arizona State?
It was the same way in Alabama when I lived there.
I mean, you can like whoever you like and root for whoever you want.
75% of the state were Alabama fans, and 25 probably Auburn fans.
Yeah.
And most of those 25 Auburn fans probably went to Auburn. And I would say, 50% of the Alabama fans, or maybe more, didn't go to Alabama.
How many?
Probably more than that.
How many Vanderbilt alum do you think were in the stadium on Saturday? That is one of the most expensive, and Notre Dame.
Yeah,
these are some of the most expensive universities in the world.
If you're Catholic, I mean, you like Notre Dame, right?
Or you're Irish, or you like that they always win. I mean, but that's one of those things where.
But why? It seems like it really bothers Spartan fans.
What's that?
Just people that didn't go to Michigan that root for Michigan.
Here's why. Because you got people who didn't go to Michigan, who couldn't get into Michigan, and they want to say you got a trash school. You must not have been able to get them. I'm like, pal, you just changed the oil in my car, and you're trying to tell me that my school doesn't have rigorous academics.
All this
I don't care.
bullshit.
I was just say I don't care for your athletics one bit, but my kids like to troll me and say things like, "Well, I think I might go to Michigan State," and I
like
say,
those kids.
And I say to them, I said, "I hope you can. I think it's a great school. Don't ever expect me to root for your teams, and please don't turn into some of those rude people up there. But yeah, I think it's a great school. I hope you do."
Well, just as we're speaking,
And then she jokingly was rooting for both teams as we were watching the game. Charlotte, my oldest one.
she wasn't sure.
And I turned to her. I said, "Of all days, not today. I don't want to hear it."
Because you were nervous. Because you're
I
scared.
wasn't nervous. I
You're
just
scared.
This was before the game started. Like as the game was starting.
That's why you started devil worshiping. Just
I just
like
didn't
in our
want to
bonus
hear it because I
episode.
didn't want to. I just didn't want to hear it.
Devil worshiper,
What?
Satan lover.
Did you do a bonus episode?
You
and play
sold
the
your
devil's
soul
music?
to Old Scratch to get that call.
What?
We know it now. You sold your soul to win that game. It's shameful.
Here's my other favorite.
And anybody who listens to the bonus episode knows exactly what I'm talking
My
about.
favorite message I got from my buddy. He wrote, "After all the times I've heard Sparty cry about getting jobbed by the refs, it's kind of fun to see it actually happening."
No, they did not get a good whistle.
Finally, an honest man.
It was normally you can
Good
say
teams get the calls.
You can normally say it sort of evens out, but they did not get a good whistle Saturday night.
Well, there were two pass interferences right off the bat.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, they great.
All right. I think those were more. I think those
when Marsh
were more.
got tackled.
Marsh
in
got
the flat.
hit before the game, right? Yeah, that was.
And then there was one over the middle. Is that the one that was over the middle where
Yes.
Rolder hit him? Yeah,
In the second half.
You know,
well, Marsh. there
those
was
were more
one early
egregious.
on,
Those
too.
are way worse than the offside.
Yeah.
By a mile.
well,
Oh yeah, they were. They
the
were
offside,
because
if
the
it was
offside was
right-
at least close, right?
If it was
I mean,
right or wrong, I could see
either
the
way.
argument either way. It's just so damn close. They're in the neutral zone. Is he over? It's just too close.
Well,
am I glad it went my way? Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course,
course.
because you're scared.
But I don't think it was
Scared.
that obvious. What was weird about that offside call is that, watching it on TV, and maybe I'd love to hear your perspective from being in the stadium, both you guys. You didn't see the flag notification pop up. You didn't see it. You didn't see an official. Michigan did not react like the flag was thrown, so it looked like it was thrown late.
It was very late, and so
Now, see, someone told me no, it was thrown right away.
It was
We just
thrown
didn't-
right away.
Okay. there you
Okay,
go.
so on the pass interference in the end zone where Underwood threw it into the stands, those of us are like, what the hell? And then I
They
heard
overturned that. Though.
They overturned
They
that.
said there was no flag on that, or
Yep.
no penalty on
Yep,
that.
they overturned that call.
They got it right.
They called it uncatchable. 100%.
They got it
but
right.
but what I heard from some people is the interference wasn't in the end zone. It's that Michigan's receiver was tackled before he could get in the end zone, and so Underwood
But
had
they
no
didn't- they
options.
didn't call
I don't
that.
know. I don't know, but
Yeah,
it
they
was.
They didn't call it.
Yeah.
You're not listening.
But listen,
So
no,
here-
I am listening.
As
but
Tracy
no,
Ullman,
no. What I'm
as
saying
Tracy
is,
Ullman said, bullets over Broadway. You're not taking it in.
well, allow me to retort. What I'm saying is,
Okay, Pulp Fiction.
You asked me what it looked like in the stadium. What I'm saying is in the stadium, we're mad that we see this flag on what's clearly not pass interference, and the people watching at home would say, what you missed is there was some contact before he got into the end zone, and the reason why it was thrown that way is because the receiver was impeded, so he had no option but
Well,
to
that
throw
would be
it away.
holding, though. I mean, that would not.
I'm just telling you what it looked like.
Oh,
You asked me, and I'm telling you.
Now, what I find interesting is it's now, it's Tuesday, and Jonathan Smith.
Say what again, Sean? Say what again? Sorry.
It's gonna go Pulp Fiction now. The rest of the show.
As we're recording the show, Jonathan Smith is still the head coach of Michigan State. And I only bring that up for two reasons. Number one, I jokingly on Saturday night said, oh, well, get rid of Jonathan L. Smith and hire Brian Kelly because he's clearly going to be fired the next day, which he was.
I ain't your friend, Punchy.
So you have this coaching carousel, right? Like teams are you don't get any time anymore. But what I thought was interesting is before the game even started, I had no less than three people tell me, three Spartan fans going, I hope we lose so we can fire Jonathan Smith.
Yeah.
And I'm blown away.
know.
He
I
hasn't-
wrote
think
about
the
that a
Free
little
Press,
bit.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And by the way, if Jonathan Smith is worried about what comes next, he's got a handsome salary and a huge buyout.
Oh, I never feel bad for any coach
No,
that gets fired.
but-
I'm sorry. I mean, I feel a little bit bad because that's their life's work, but that's kind of the big boy deal you make when you get paid millions.
Sure. And that's why you put the buyout in. That's your security.
Sure.
It either buys you time or it buys you time to build the team up or it buys you time to rehabilitate
days are
your
over.
reputation and get another job. But if he didn't have that, he might want to turn to Luke Nowacki and Pinnacle Wealth Strategies because they'll help you prepare for a future.
Great.
In the same way that I
segue.
wish we'd prepared a better game plan.
Wow.
And if you find yourself with nothing better to do on a Saturday because you got fired, the Cadre Cafe has something going on inside, outside. There's feather bowling, there's live music, there's great food. And
Muscles.
And if you survive, and maybe it's the bye week, there's something going on every night of the week. So you can do that even if you don't get fired.
So what do you guys make of this whole we got to get rid of him attitude?
So
Whoa, I thought we were transitioning out.
my
No,
feeling.
I want an answer.
My feeling before this weekend, when another half dozen coaches walked the plank, was Michigan State is not going to be among the top 5 most desirable jobs. So you're already not going to get the top choice. I don't know that anybody really knows who the top choices are, because if they did, they would have hired the Indiana coach, Signetti, years ago. And a lot of these guys who are successful head coaches, like the guy at Vandy and a couple of these other guys, they would have been head coaches. They were coordinators who got promoted. So I was by Smith time, and I tend to probably stand by coaches a little too long. After the homecoming UCLA game, I'm like, that's it. You can't come out flat at homecoming with your season on the line. That was enough for me.
At noon against the West Coast team.
Yeah, and
who just fired their coach.
Yeah, and of course Penn State's. UCLA's coming off a high, so it's a bit of a trap game. Like, we're doing great, we can get these.
But there's plenty of guys out there.
I saw the fight against Indiana in Indiana, and the fact that they didn't just roll over. That encouraged me.
That was a little better performance.
That encouraged me, and the fact that they finally put together a defensive game plan, which is why I say Michigan's not a good team, because I don't think it was so much that we figured out our defense. I think it's just that
Michigan
we
chose
played
to
a
run
team
the
that
ball.
wasn't that good.
No, they just chose to run the ball.
Well, they can't really throw the ball.
So we
They did against Washington.
I saw enough against Indiana and the Wolverines to say let him finish the season, but I'm willing to give him a third year, but I certainly didn't want them to lose to Michigan.
What if you get
I just don't until I see a better alternative. And somebody told me
what
Magic Johnson's
if you get Brian Kelly?
What? We had a chance for Brian Kelly, and we hired Mark D'Antonio instead, and that was the right move.
No, I know, but what if you get him now?
I don't want
the guy wins 10-9 games every year. I mean,
No.
total asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
Yells at his player. I wouldn't. Any school that hires that guy.
You know, it's funny.
What about Matt Patricia? He's a hot commodity now.
Yeah,
He would fit in perfect up there.
What?
No.
Yeah, no. Everything's a grievance. He's kind of a jerk. He'd fit perfectly.
No, he wouldn't.
Green.
No,
I
there's
wish
a
I had my
difference.
wrench.
No.
Any school that hires that guy.
Here's what I didn't tell you in my story. That one Spartan could have kicked all 7 of those Wolverines' ass, but I didn't want to see him that. I want to be a good host. But,
Yeah, you are.
yeah, no Matt Patricia.
I can't prove you wrong.
You're
There's no
very,
evidence.
You're a very good host. You know, think about that Michigan State job.
Why did somebody delete the texts?
You guys remember Michael Rosenberg, columnist at the Detroit Free Press, who works for Sports Illustrated now. I hadn't seen him in a long time. We had breakfast last week. We were talking about this game, and he made a great point. And I think about this the same way too. The Michigan State job requires a much more front-facing coach for football than Michigan.
What do you mean by that? That they have to be they're the program?
And their personality and the way they talk and
that's why Patricia would fit in perfectly.
No, he wouldn't. He's not. He's not that at
then you
all.
can make up all these grievances.
No. He doesn't have the personality.
Like putting a spike in
Patricia is not that at all.
Disrespected. He'd be perfect for
if you
disrespect.
win,
because we almost clotheslined Devin Bush. I can't believe that young man got out alive.
The bottom line is, if you win, then it doesn't matter so much what it doesn't matter so much what your personality is, right? As long as you're not egregiously cheating. If you win, you're fine. But you gotta have a little. If you're gonna get any time at all, you've got to understand that place. You've got to understand the dynamic in Michigan State, and everything outside
Jonathan
of football.
Smith didn't get that last year.
No,
he did not understand that.
No, and he doesn't
Ann Arbor.
understand it, and I don't think he's just not that was. Think about what D'Antonio did. This is still, to me, one of the more underrated things in college sports in the last 30 years. He loses the first game to the rival, and he goes fucking biblical and says, pride comes before the fall. We're just getting started.
It's not
We're
over.
coming.
It'll never
it's
be
not
over.
It'll never be over.
But he learned
and then
that,
he went out, and
he
because
learned
of other
that from Tressel. Because Tressel put the countdown clock up when he got the job in Ohio State, and they did the same thing.
No question. It is the arrogant whatever, right? It's the same. And Mel Tucker had a lot of other issues, obviously, but he understood that. Mm-hmm. And when he beat Michigan, what did he do? He took a selfie with the Paul Bunyan and a cigar in his mouth.
Yeah, that aged well. It looks great.
No. But it fed. It's red meat, feet, and MAGA.
But I think
it's the same thing.
I think what they really need is a coach that understands this new world that is college football. Because when you look at who are some of the transfers State brought in, they come from Middle Tennessee and Kent State and Valdosta State. Michigan's getting transfers and losing transfers to people like Alabama, Arkansas. I mean,
Well, you could
there's
hit.
something to
Yeah,
be,
but
there's something to be said for-
Signetti in Indiana took them all from James Madison
Not-
and from
not all of them.
Ohio. And
No,
I know.
And now they've got Fernando Mendoza from Cal.
who came from
brother was
Cal.
on the team.
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
But you're right. I agree with that, which is why the guy I'd hire the guy from North Dakota State and have him bring his whole team because that team's pretty damn good at that level. But you need someone who really understands this because I think the biggest misunderstanding about Michigan State athletics is that there's a lot of money that is just sitting on the side, ready to be poured into the right coach.
Well, we saw that with Tucker, right?
100%. But how many people?
Of course, it turned out to be only 14 million or whatever.
How many of these donors? Because there's a lot of billionaires that went to Michigan State. They probably have more money in their alumni base than a lot of SEC teams, believe it or not. Are they sitting on the sideline because they don't believe in Jonathan?
No, they don't, and that's
there's
well,
the
Magic
rub right
Johnson
there.
called him out.
Indiana spent more money. Indiana spent more money this year on their football.
Indiana has a
Michigan
shitload of money. I think that's another thing people don't. They almost their USC went after their defensive coordinator because USC's got a lot of money. Went after the defensive coordinator. Like, nope, we're going to pay him $2 million for defensive coordinator.
Mark Cuban
Stay
went
at
to Indiana, by the way.
Mark Cuban went there. Yes, there's a lot of they're huge alumni bases.
Have you been
with
to
a lot
Bloomington?
of money.
Have you been to Bloomington? Have you seen Frat Row? These houses are all made out of marble. I mean, it's like being in being in Rome.
I guess my point is, I think Smith's on borrowed time because of donors, 100%. But I don't think that's a death sentence for a program. I think you get the right guy in who knows
They've got to understand the landscape and the emotional and the psychology of all this. Then you get the donut. Then you get the money.
You get it all back. Yep.
Here's what I liked about Jonathan Smith. So I like the low key thing, and people are like, oh, he's. I'm like,
nothing wrong with that.
I don't remember Tom
If
Landry
you win,
jumping
it's
up
fine.
and down, and Tom Landry was
then you're
okay.
you're just quirky.
Tom Landry was also like 3 decades ago.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you
More
don't
than
have to
that,
be
yeah.
you don't have to be a
Well-ended,
psychopath on the sidelines because Brian Kelly was, and it didn't work for him.
I agree.
So his demeanor doesn't bother me. What bothered me is
D'Antonio wasn't a psychopath on the sidelines. That's not what you have to do.
No, I understand, but he did have more of an edge than and he had a sneaky sense of humor that I don't know.
No, he reminded me so much of Lloyd Carr.
Yeah.
Yes. I'd take that. But the thing about Smith that
Izzo's favorite coach at Michigan, by the way.
was that.
Izzo told me one time Lloyd Carr was his.
Because Lloyd Carr
Love's
hated
a great
Michigan.
guy.
He
He
knew
loved
what a piece
Lloyd
of
Carr.
shit it was. That's why his boys are going elsewhere. But the thing about
all 3 of his
grandkids.
kids went there. So
no,
Just saying.
it's grandkids. I mean,
well, that's because Harbaugh didn't recruit CJ.
or the other kid. What's his name?
Tommy.
DJ?
Tommy's going to
BJ?
Miami.
The thing about Jonathan Smith, he didn't understand the rivalry, which surprised me. And the thing I liked about him, which is also why I didn't understand the rivalry, is he built a program in the shadow of a big dick school and made them successful, and he coached guys up. That's the D'Antonio model. And
That model won't work anymore, though.
Well, so that's why I'm saying that's why I thought he'd be a good fit here. Here's what I'm concerned about: is that model was workable, but within the last 2 years, everything's changed. The transfers have changed. How much you
That
can pay him
model
has
didn't work
changed.
for D'Antonio at the end of D'Antonio's.
No,
run,
what didn't work for D'Antonio was he was stubborn and he wouldn't get rid of some of those coaches that weren't getting it done.
But are you
D'Antonio's
I
loyalty is what
feel-
screwed him.
I feel like
and then he didn't want to deal with transfers at NIL, but he was done before that. He was done 2 years before he was gone.
It wasn't the coaches.
Are you
and that
acting-
lawsuit killed him. That lawsuit.
It wasn't the coaches.
torture.
It was the fact that he tried to recruit differently all of a sudden, right? Because they were so good, he started getting
They
his
did take
hands
some
on.
questionable guys.
He started getting some
and
hands
he
on
lost-
more 4
he
and
lost-
5-star guys.
He lost an entire recruiting class.
and they
he lost the
all turned
2016
out, almost
class.
all of
Yes.
them turned out to be
They got in trouble.
Exactly.
yes. Yeah.
And that was the beginning of the
Yes,
end.
yes, that was. But he was also very stubborn, and that never works out for you. You got to be adaptable. So anyways,
Are you acting like the new way is bad?
No, it's just different.
What I'm telling you is,
it could be good. It could work to your advantage because you can turn a program around like that.
well,
Like
witness
that.
Signetti. But what I'm telling you
We're not a sports
is,
show, by the way.
What I'm telling you is, I don't know whether we should get rid of Jonathan Smith because I don't know which way to go because this, your strange ways confuse me. I feel like unfrozen caveman lawyer, So until I can think of somebody better, I say he stays. But I think if you went back and looked at this show maybe 4 years ago, I said the same thing about Mel Tucker. So I really would not be the one who.
Well, because a lot of times,
I've been hit in the head by a wrench, so I'm not really sure that I'm the guy to count on.
well, a lot of times with coaching changes, it doesn't. Whenever you make that hire, it's a quote unquote great hire. Everyone's excited, it's something new. But most of them don't work out. Most of them are now you're stuck in this quagmire. I mean, look at Michigan, right? Hire Rich Rod, disaster. So your next option is Hoke, even bigger disaster.
You think
and now
Hoke was a bigger disaster than Rich Rod?
No, not at all.
I don't think so.
Rich Rod.
Rich Rod was to
University.
understand the culture and all that.
Yeah.
But I mean, now you're behind the 8 ball.
This is Michigan
for 10 years.
Yeah.
So.
No, I know. So
Well, that's not entirely true. Hoke actually recruited decently, and when Harbaugh first got there, had some pretty good talent.
Yeah, but Hoke couldn't coach.
No, but I'm just saying it's not like he left the program bereft.
Well, to that point, then
They
Rich Rod
should
had
have beaten
nothing.
Ohio State that first year.
Yeah,
they had a fair amount of talent on that team, and then it took a dip, and then it started to build back up again. Like Harbaugh won.
2011.
Harbaugh won right away with some decent talent from Hoke.
Yeah,
and then
he couldn't.
Then it
coach.
dipped.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he had to
and
build
Rich
it
Rod
back
was the
up.
opposite. He couldn't recruit, but he pretty good. He was a pretty good coach. Kind of a dick, but
he
pretty good
could
coach.
recruit, but he wanted a different kind of player. He wanted smaller, faster, and that wasn't going to work in the Big Ten. And frankly, maybe it would have, but the fan base wasn't going to wait for it. And then
I think that's what you see now with a lot of schools, like
and
LSU. And
that's
fine.
why
That's okay.
That's why I don't have an itchy trigger finger because
Yeah.
all these
Got
guys in
to.
the stands screaming, they don't
have to,
see.
though.
They don't see it all week, and that's my concern. But
I mean,
anyways,
if they got rid of him and got and beat Penn State and got somebody better, now's the time to do it because so many schools are looking for a new coach, and you're going to have to overpay to get the guy you want.
or you're going to have to take a chance on a lower division guy, or you have to take a chance on a coordinator, and you may end up getting
Tim Pulisek.
You may end up
Telling you,
getting
man.
Chris Lee, or you may end up getting
You're looking
Dana
at your-
Holgerson, or you may end up
looking at
getting.
your
Ugh,
list.
Dana Holgerson,
bump.
yikes.
You're looking at your list.
That's what I'm saying.
What's exciting,
So,
Mark?
Hmm?
What do we have on the list?
Oh, these are all my Halloween songs.
so yeah. If
You look like you were writing
for the bonus
something.
episode. No,
Yeah,
I'm
the other
doodling
people
while I think.
who support this show as our soulmates for as little
Yes.
as $5 a month. You get to watch the show, and of course, you get our bonus episode, which is going to post any minute now. It's our favorite Halloween songs. I would say by new wave bands, but I don't think Slayer's a new wave band, so you should check that out. There's a lot of music, there's a lot of fun stories, and a lot of analysis, and a lot of Shawn, who we're always glad
No,
to see.
very little of me, which is how it should be.
Yeah, you're sort of like a dash of paprika.
Dry.
Okay.
All by yourself, horrible
Okay.
tasting, and if there's enough food to bury
Spices
you,
it up.
not offensive.
So if you add a little sour cream to me, you got something delicious Hungarian thing. Paprikash or something. How about that?
Yeah, chicken paprikash.
There we go.
Well, Elric, if I was a college coach with a lot of money, what should I do with it?
I mean, I wouldn't. But before we do that,
Oh, God, I've been trying to get you there for 5 minutes.
I just want to say a word about the Detroit election because it's coming up,
Oh, yeah.
and we've got a big
Vote.
a big
Okay.
vote a week from Tuesday. A lot of folks have already voted. But one of the things I was really concerned about after the primary is that we would basically have a one-horse race. And Mary Sheffield, the latest campaign finance reports are in. She's raised nearly $3 million. She has a PAC that supports her that's raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. And there's some dark money committees that are spending so much money. It's got to be hundreds of thousands of dollars. We don't know where the money's coming from. We don't know, exactly how they're spending it, except we see it stamped on ads here and there. Solomon Kinloch, who has run just a dreadful campaign,
Awful.
has raised $600,000. Now, he got a late start, but I think of the $600,000, he's probably lent himself maybe 15 or 20% of it. It's unbelievable. I don't know. There have been a lot of one-sided mayoral races in Detroit over the last 15 years. I don't know that I've ever seen one that has been as lopsided. But one of the really interesting things, because they're not talking a lot about policy and you don't see a lot of bold pronouncements, one of the things that's really interesting, I look at this, and if you read my column in the Free Press, you'll see this. I look at the money, and Sheffield has taken money from all kinds of people, tons of people who got caught up in the Kilpatrick bribery scandal, major donors to Mary Sheffield. Now, you might say, well, why would you take money from people who paid bribes? Well, the people who paid that money would say we were extorted. And so we don't look at it the same way. And fair enough, although one of them is in some trouble with the state right now. But
It's crazy.
But one of the things that I found fascinating in looking at the new campaign finance report from Sheffield that came out on Friday, and I know that whole sentence, looking at a campaign finance report and fascinating, doesn't make sense. But here's who finally showed up in those campaign finance reports.
This is why it makes sense, yeah.
Roger Penske, Jim Nicholson, and a lot of the old dogs, these rich, old white CEOs who have financed every Detroit mayor going back to friggin', Cadillac. And they had been sitting on the sidelines until this thing was an inevitability, a fait accompli. Now, Dan Gilbert has been very supportive of Sheffield from the beginning, but some of these guys, these CEOs who like to help run the city,
and cash in on the city.
Well, and also fund things, like the Q Line and parks. And, these are the guys who serve on the host committee for the Super Bowl and the All-Star game. Yeah. Now,
don't pay taxes.
They get their money out of it. They when they want to pave Belle Isle to have their race cars, they get to do it. But it's interesting to me that these folks clearly have not seen something in Sheffield and are only donating when it's like, well, I guess I better because we know who the next mayor is going to be. And the last thing I want to do is call up and have them say, well, I don't remember getting a donation from you, because people want to pretend that's not how it happens. When people donate to your campaign, you remember it and you take that call. And I'll tell you, as someone who ran for office, everybody who donated to my campaign, I know who they are. It doesn't get them a break, but you still think about it. You're like, this guy kind of helped me out.
Yeah.
I mean, there were people who came to my tailgate on Saturday who parked for free because I was grateful they supported my campaign, So I think it's going to be very interesting to see when Sheffield gets in there how some of these, pillars of Detroit conduct themselves, because while all the money's going to her, she's going to walk away with this election, both because she has experience and she's an attractive candidate. And I don't mean visually, although she's an attractive woman, but she's cast herself in a way that appeals to people. But I think she's essentially going to be handed this election. And I think when people give you things, you start to think that things are easy or that everything you did was the right way because it worked out the right way, right? If I didn't do everything right, I wouldn't have had a good outcome. Yeah. And as the candidates, and Mary Sheffield herself has said, the money's going to dry up. There's not going to be money from Washington. We're going to have a revenue crisis. And I think the next 4 years in Detroit, regardless of who wins, because it's not over yet, but I think it's over, it's going to be challenging. And where the money goes, I think that tells us who's going to be there to try and help out. So hopefully we'll have more on our campaign finance coverage in the Free Press and some other stuff.
I want to read that.
And we'll I do too. And then we'll also be talking in our feedback about Lee Chatfield, another
good article.
Scoundrel who was in trouble. T-Bats wants to, or no, not T-Bats. It was Trey wants to know about that when we get into our feedback. But in the meantime, we're talking about money. Where's the money go? I often ask that question. Let somebody else worry about that. Would be Luke Nowacki and Zach over at Pinnacle Wealth Strategies, because football season is here. But if your plan for retirement is to hit an 8-leg parlay, I don't even know what that is. That sounds like a
I would be happy to explain it to you.
Okay, I'm not sure that I can. I'm not sure that I can process that because I went to Michigan State.
It's really easy. It's where you pick 8 parts of a game, be it money line, over, under, individual prop bets, and you take 8 of them and you put like $5 down to win. I don't know, 100.
And I was
to me, I hate them.
I
hate parlays.
Yeah,
hate them
no,
with a passion.
We had
it's hard enough to win one bet.
We had a server at BW3s a couple weeks ago who was waiting on a parlay on a Sunday night football game. He brought all the orders and he got them all right, but he was so nervous about whether it would come together. And then it did.
Really?
And then there was a turnover on the last second of the game, and then it didn't. So
he should have cashed out.
It was very bad. But
or just given his money to Luke.
But if that's your plan, maybe you should call or text Luke Nowacki. Yes, Mark, that's exactly right.
Finally.
At 248-663-4748. You can see Shawn texting Luke right now. Maybe he's got Zach on the line when that parlay fails. Or maybe even before you place that long shot. The key to long-term investing is to have less anxiety in the markets than Maz has in the concourse at Spartan Stadium. And whether you bet or don't bet, whether you're Maz or another fine individual, when you call Luke, he'll make it all about you, sweetheart.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through
Mosaic Wealth.
Inc. member FINRA SIPC.
Mosaic Wealth.
Inc. is separately owned, and other entities and or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent.
Mosaic Wealth.
Inc.
So I was opening the Florida nominations for Geek of the Week, and is somebody going to rescue me, or?
Well, let's find out.
Oh man, the geeks have inherited the earth.
That's called a teaser.
Dork.
Just like Pam Smart, she was a teaser.
Again, mean that he's turning into a
I guess we
geek,
talked about that.
or we're turning into cool guys.
So if you're a high school teacher who wants to be on TV and you seduce some of your students to kill your husband, no, not Pam Smart. Okay, no.
Nicole Kidman.
She's not a geek. Although Keith Urban, they're done. It's over. It's a shame.
Isn't that what she did, or no? No, she wasn't a teacher. She was.
Yeah, she was Pam Smart. She was a teacher.
Oh, that's right.
Who wanted to be a
So that's the Geek
newscaster,
of the
I
Week.
think.
That's great. What's the song?
Oh my God, are you in a hurry?
No, just curious.
What, do you have a Geek of the Week?
I love the music. No, I've never believed in this part of the show. So
But we still do it.
I
It
can't
doesn't matter if you believe in
I
it or
can't be
not.
a hypocrite.
I mean, it exists.
I'm not going to participate. I can't be a
Oh,
hypocrite.
for God's sake.
Sean's our Geek of the Week for tearing down the East Wing without going through the planning process. And of course, those refs in the Michigan Stadium.
Wow.
That's the Geek of the Week.
Charles White fumbled back in 1979. Actually, he did fumble.
Yeah, it wasn't called.
Yeah, no, it was terrible. I remember why. Back then, I was a Michigan fan. That's where I started to learn about saying you got a job. But at least he did.
You were a Michigan fan.
Growing up, because that's the only thing you had on TV. Don
Exactly.
Canham, when you were born, you got a blue and yellow binky.
That's brilliant.
And a onesie.
And the only thing that taught you, that made you prepared to be a Michigan fan, is sucking on something real hard. Anyways,
Are
Mike,
you going to take that, Mark?
he's moving on.
It's so pointless. I don't know. I mean,
I can't
he
believe
did
you're
get hit in the head with a wrench.
Can't believe you're going to take that.
Mark's
Because it's childish.
Mark's upset because
He put his reading glasses on for that.
he had just prepared an elaborate
Which mean he-
defense
which
for
mean
the
he wrote it down.
NCAA fine, and then they said we're not going to fight it. Because
Okay, there we go. Did we just make up
'Cause
the
it's a
Geek of the
fine.
Week? We did, didn't we? We had a little fun there. There we go. Good.
Mike says, Mr. Magoo's recommendation of Bittersweet Alley sent me down a wormhole of my favorite 80s Detroit rock. This is Mike Johnston, not Mike Johnson, and I often confuse Mike Johnson's? Never mind. The Look, Toby Red, Rhythm Corps,
Toby Red,
Seduce.
drummer is Chad Smith, or was Chad Smith.
Yeah, from the Chili
Red Hot Chili
Peppers,
Peppers.
right?
Uh-huh.
Boy,
Nice.
does he feel bad about leaving Toby Red?
We got Dennis Miller over here with the references. It's great.
I got more too.
It's like
I
when
love 'em.
it's like when Pythagoras was at the Thermopylae, and then he said,
I mean, I just want you to know, Sean, that you're encouraging this.
I'm trying to make up, since we didn't do Geek of the Week, I want to have a little fun, right? Because that's not usually fun. So there we go.
Speaking of back to school, as we did in the bonus episode, I didn't know you want to get involved in the discussion, Mr. Helper. He's electric.
So,
Okay, there we go.
what
Now
does
for
the
the
email
song.
say?
Now for the song. We've done
Mike
enough.
says, after listening to all these 80s bands from Detroit rock scene that he loved,
Wait, you already read that.
I don't think anything rocked harder than Cheap Thrill Looks by the Almighty Strut. The song is an absolute beast, snarling 5-octave vocals, requisite guitar solo, Aquanet hair, spandex pants with bulging moose knuckle on. Oh my God!
Gross.
On displays, a little.
What's wrong with that?
Reminds-
a little bulge.
It's disgusting.
Reminds me of Derek Smalls going through the metal detector
Reminds
at
me
the
of
LA airport.
Reminds me of 7th grade. Remember 7th grade? You had to the teacher put the words up on the blackboard, and you had to define them and use them in a sentence. And one of the words was enormous. And somebody in the class stood up and said, "The bulge in my pants is enormous," and immediately got sent to the principal's office.
Yeah, but it was worth it.
Jeez.
It was so worth it.
It totally was. Okay,
I'm glad
that,
you did that.
Okay, that was kind of me, but
Until the school nurse said, "Let me check that out, sailor."
but this is how guys are guys or boys are always boys, and it's pathetic. And silly, but I was at a 40-year reunion, and that story
somebody
came
was
up.
in a rush.
So you isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
You say that that's
a killer line.
Totally
comedic
ridiculous.
delivery. Yeah.
And I may have even gotten paddled, but anyway,
what grade was it?
It was 7th grade. So
you peaked at 7th grade.
45 years later, it's still being talked about. Just pure silliness.
We never downhill since then.
I can still see every moment of this in my mind. 7th grade sex ed, our counselor, Mr. Ireton, who was clearly, by the way, bore a striking resemblance to David Koechner, incredibly uncomfortable doing the sex ed thing. And the whole time you're like, this guy, he's and he says, and your boys, I don't want any jokes. It says, okay, so now we're looking at the penis. The penis, there are various things. There's things like the vas deferens. And Jeff Henze shouts out, and Vaseline. He's like, Henze, teacher's office,
That's not a
or
good
principal's
line.
office. Now.
That's not the great line.
So you don't like
The Sean, your line was better.
Oh, Sean's was better, but I mean, there's always some cut up in that sex ed class. Some teacher who hates doing it, like they've been sentenced to do it, and the first guy to crack, they got to walk.
At least Henze tried it. I mean, you don't know if it's going to work.
No, it's just, I remember.
Henze tried a lot of things that didn't work. That was this kind of his thing. He was a big dude.
You got to workshop that stuff.
I got sent to the principal's office one time. I was in the library. This is middle school.
Just one time.
Somebody ripped one and just it was back we were all on, everything was wood back then, right? There's no cushion anywhere or plastic, whatever.
You had to walk 5 miles.
So
it
reverberates and the old plaster, whatever. It's an old, the building's built in the 20s.
Perhaps the
in this middle
wainscoting.
school, and it just rips one and shakes the walls. And the librarian comes over to us and wanted to know, who did that. And I said, that was a mere case of hallucinations. That got me sent to the.
It's a pretty good line.
That got me sent to the thing. But if I just may, the worst one.
I don't think we can stop you. So go.
9th grade.
Oh boy.
My family was trying to save money, so I was in these awful cheap polyester pants because they were cheaper than jeans. Everybody else was wearing Jordans.
A huge bulge.
At the time. And I actually had one because in 9th grade,
a huge bulge
for no reason you couldn't control, right? And we were in the health class. It was health.
Going there.
It's health.
There goes
class,
the ratings.
right?
Windsor's got a 9th grade rager,
and we're learning
brought to you by Pinnacle Wealth Strategies.
We're learning.
If you're trying to grow your assets like Shawn was,
we're learning CPR, and it was my turn to get up and do CPR on the dummy up at the front of the class. And I had these cheap brown, chocolate brown polyester pants on, and my thing is sticking straight out.
As you approach resuscitation,
and there was no reason I had an erection. It was just
Yeah, you're a healthy 9th grader.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's like if anybody's
Cyrus?
a parent of boys, right? It's like, can you change your son's diaper when they're 3 months old or 6 months old, and just bang, it just shoots, and then they start peeing straight up or whatever. It's just that's just nature. And anyway, so that was awful. That was an
Thanks for that email that sent us down that road.
Did anybody notice?
Well, no, it's like I pulled the Anchorman. I pulled the Anchorman line. It's the plaid. It was the pleats and the pants.
Oh yeah. So
but I did not say don't act like you didn't notice.
So when the Octagon appeared with Dr. Kenneth Noisewater and who was the other guy? Maybe you get to meet all three.
No, I don't. Nobody noticed. It was just it was just barely a ripple. No, actually, no. Come on, man. It was
okay. Hang on, Brian.
Enough about your dick.
Yeah,
it was really embarrassing.
I got to read this. This is brought to you by the Caju Cafe, who's open and closed since we started this section because they're open till like 2 a.m. They're already closed. Mike says, funny memory of this song, which to remind you is Cheap Thrill Looks by the Almighty Strut, is my old man driving me to a Little League game in 1984. Shit, I wonder if I played him in that game. Oh, no, I was in Babe Ruth then. Anyways, he always listened to CKLW, the Big 800, the station he grew up in the 60s, but hard times had befallen. The Big 8, and I don't know if this was a last-ditch effort to appeal to younger listeners or if a Saturday morning DJ just went rogue, but the clouds suddenly parted. Gunnar Ross cowbell rang out, and AM 800
I knew
rocked
Gunnar.
out. Really? That's a real dude?
Gunnar Ross is the drummer, and Gunnar did, okay, so this is down a rabbit hole, but the producer at Drew and Mike, when I started, was Rob Schaefer, and Rob Schaefer was in a band with Gunnar Ross. And
Was
Gunnar,
it Was it the Almighty Strut?
No, but it was one of my favorite band names of all time. My one buddy had a band, and that band was called Heavy Petting Zoo, which I just love that name.
It could have been on Subterranean with the Leather Nun.
But Rob and Gunnar were in a band called Skeptic Tank, which I just love that. It's such a good name for a band, Skeptic Tank.
It's not exactly the Almighty Lumberjacks of Death, but it's not bad.
But it's simple.
So the Gunnar Ross cowbell rang out, and AM 800 rocked out for possibly the first time in its life. Unfortunately, my dad's ears immediately rejected this song as something not of this world, and the station was changed over my protests.
Aww.
Get ready, Mark. The only new band he liked was Huey Lewis. I was left with musical blue balls, much like 9th grade Shawn Windsor, until I got home to my cassettes taped off of Mark's favorite station, WRI.
Oh, it used to be.
So here's the Struts. Well, we're doing nostalgia. With Cheap Thrill Looks. Brought to you by Mike and his bulging Johnston.
Ain't nobody gets to me. Ain't nobody that I live to see. Ain't nobody in my vision to change my position. So good when you dress, I'm dressed for me. 'Cause it's the only way I'll be. Cheap thrill love. Cheap thrill love. I wanna find cheap thrill love. Get to me. Cheap thrill love. Oh, I believe. Ain't nobody treats me right. Nobody better give me warm at night. Ain't nobody gives me a chill. Just give me cheap thrill. So good when you dress, I'm dressed for me. 'Cause it's the only way I'll be. Cheap thrill love, cheap thrill love. I want to find cheap thrill love. Cheap thrill love, I can see.
My favorite part of that video was Gunner. Rest in peace, Gunner.
And they end with Gunner.
Yes,
he's obviously a star. Holy shit, those are some romantics style
let me
perms.
go back to that.
That's
But what made me laugh about this video is it was from
whoa.
What?
The pink guy
His camel. Yeah, that's exactly what
that's
the
the moose
emailer was
knuckle.
talking about. Yeah.
Mike nailed it.
But the best part was because this had a 2-minute intro, but the
Is
host,
that Doug Podell?
It is the host of the beat.
Doc of Rock.
He was the host of the beat.
Wow.
Look, that's great. I love it.
Is that a leather
That's
new
really
new
cool.
a members only jacket?
Kind of, yeah. Wow. I mean that's a really good look for Doug.
You know,
has accomplished a lot. Man.
We all know about Doug's follicle challenge, but it was clearly setting in by then. Why not comb it forward?
Because he's got long hair there.
Yeah, but why
that looks
comb it
cool,
back?
man.
I don't know. Everybody knows how that story's going to end.
I mean, it's a moment in time, right?
I don't know. When you're with guys who have more hair than a yak and you're pulling it back, I don't know. But anyway, thank you, Mike, for that great suggestion. Please send your nominations to mlsoulofdetroit@gmail.com. We will get them on the show. Of course, clearly, we prefer the story to the music. No offense to Gunner and the Almighty Struts, but boy, that was a 80s time capsule. And if you're a soulmate, you got to watch the video too. And we apologize for that.
That's fun.
This is a great part of our show, our favorite part of the show, particularly when we actually get to
when
thank
Shawn
somebody
goes upstairs
for
he's
supporting
missing
us.
from his seat.
Oh yeah, no, that's usually when the music starts.
What'd you think of that song, Shawn?
He says,
I like the guitar, the actual guitar, not the playing of it, but the actual guitar. It took me back to 1987.
Yeah, he's always been a BC Rich Bitch fan.
Yeah, no. I was just talking with Drew. He was
that the Flying
He can't stop talking about Otani.
Oh, I know. I think he stayed up for that whole
He did.
game 3,
He did.
which
He's
is
like,
insane.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
18 innings.
Stupid.
How long did the Tigers elimination game go?
Wait a second. Where's that hoodie from? That was 5 hours. I was there.
What are you, a child?
No.
Put a shiny object in front of you?
No, it's shiny. I just realized we've got these kind of hoodies for Soul of Detroit.
Does Drew have any Adderall?
Are we
up there?
selling these? Or we
well, you know what, Shawn? When I sent you the link to the merch store and said,
You
Shawn,
did?
if you see anything you'd like.
Oh, that's very kind of you. I wish I'd seen that.
It's a new era, too. It's
That is
high quality.
awesome. I gotta get one of those.
Perhaps we need a new era on the show. We will be opening the merch shop soon, and it won't be open for long. So get in and get your shit.
Can I get one
out.
of those?
No.
Damn.
If you behave.
By the way, did anybody bring any breakfast burritos in this morning?
Oh my God. Can we get him some? What kind of medicine makes you focus? Is it Adderall?
Adderall. Somebody brought in a
Not
big.
when you're an adult, though,
I
right?
just didn't
Somebody
know if
brought a big sausage
you
in,
guys,
but that was in 9th grade. So we want to thank our donors whenever we can, and today we get to thank a couple of them.
All right.
Don stepped up.
Thank you, Don.
Big time. Don is, like us, a huge Mr. Magoo fan, and we had a great Magoo graphic. If you follow me on Twitter, you saw it last week. So Don is showing his appreciation. We love you, Don. Good man. I hope everything's going well with you. And Mike makes a one-time donation. Don's new soulmate, Mike, made a one-time donation, which anybody can make through PayPal or Venmo. There's a link on our website, mlsoulofdetroit.com. And just want to tease here a little bit. Mike says, hello, everyone. Sending a much overdue donation and note for a suggested band and song. My buddies went through high school in the mid-90s. They were terrified of Shawn's giant forehead, and we had our go-to metal bands. And next week, we'll tell you who they are.
Oh, in the mid-90s? All right. It's
So
right in
thanks,
my alley.
Mike. We'll be coming back next week with that. We also spoke. New studio, no cough button. Somebody call the architect, or maybe he's busy designing a big ballroom.
You all right over there?
I'm dying.
Sometimes I'm going to kill all the noise so we can hear you die.
Sometimes, after you've been hit by a wrench, it causes other psychosomatic reactions. But I got to get ready because this one's ponderous,
me to read
man.
it? I'll read it.
Oh yeah, please. This is ponderous.
Seriously, you want me to read it?
Here,
If you don't
or
mind.
I'll read it and I'll edit it down.
No.
Man. Ponderous.
Sean will talk about a priapism that he had
Oh my
on a.
God, that's the longest email I've ever seen.
We're not going to read all of it.
Well, luckily,
Just read the parts ML doesn't want you to read.
luckily we have our amateur booth announcer here, Don Tardo.
Gentlemen,
Oh, sorry.
gentlemen, Assuming you'll discuss MSU football and Coach Jonathan
just read all the
Smith.
words once. It's long
I thought we were
enough.
saving this one.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
No. We're
It's
saving.
going to take forever. All right.
We're saving the one about gambling for next week.
Oh, okay. This is another long one?
Well, we're going to be at it next week by the time he's done, so we'll just roll.
No. Oh, my God. Okay, here we go. Gentlemen, assuming you'll discuss MSU football and Coach Jonathan Smith on tomorrow's show, can you consider working in the gist of this? Essentially, asking you to take a broad view of Lee Chatfield vis-a-vis the highest-paid public employee in Michigan who makes $7.35 million per year to, quote, coach 12 games of football and is about to be handed $33 million to go away. Okay. Discuss.
I am not in favor of getting rid of the coach at this point. I'm on record saying that I think what coaches are paid is incredibly outrageous. And as far as buyouts go, here's my problem with the buyouts. You should also have a clause in there that if a coach leaves early, that he has to pay you a shitload. So if we give you $30 million to go away, you should have to give us $60 million if you leave. But
isn't that how it usually works?
No, I think coaches leave and they break their contract and there's no penalty.
No, I think
that's increasing.
No, I think the new school usually pays it. I think there's always Shawn, help me out.
By the way, the email did
or don't.
There you go.
No. The email did point out that I didn't mention the $33 million buyout in my column. It also mentions, and I think this is interesting, if Kwame and Bobby stole their fortunes while wearing headsets and university apparel, ML never wins a Pulitzer.
Well, technically, the Free Press won a Pulitzer. But
yeah, so I don't know. No, it's not. I mean, what was Franklin's buyout? 60, 55, 60? I mean,
no, but I'm talking about when a coach leaves, right? The new team or new school usually pays his buyout.
There is, but it's not that big.
No.
Brian Kelly is negotiating. He's got a massive buyout with LSU.
Second largest ever, yeah.
$54 million,
and they're negotiating that. Clearly there's some wiggle room.
But I do think
in these contracts,
think your buyout gets diminished if you get a new job.
It does, and most of these contracts have language that say you've got to try to find a job in good faith.
Right.
Right. You can't just sit there.
James Franklin says that. But, what is try to find a good job? Like James Franklin was on College Game Day. Does that count as because his has to be in broadcasting or coaching.
Oh.
And then they will make up the difference.
A single appearance, I wouldn't imagine it counts.
But a tryout.
But if it leads into a full-time gig next year where he's doing the Urban Meyer thing or the Nick Saban thing,
then Penn State makes up the difference.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, so he could go coach a school for $1.
Yeah, no, these contracts are crazy. No,
I'm sure there's language where you can't do it for $1, but you could be underpaid and make.
And the schools are going to have to rethink them.
I think the point that Trey is trying to make is that even
that is batshit crazy is what he says.
But more than that, what he's trying to say is these supervillains, Lee Chatfield, Kwame Kilpatrick, no matter how much they steal, they're still not taking as much money from Michigan taxpayers as a football coach who fails.
But the money
comes on that.
From
the money comes
places.
from the athletic department. It's not taxpayer money.
It's different.
They're run separately. Number two is you didn't do anything illegal. Being a shitty coach isn't illegal.
That's number one. These coaches set out to succeed. In fact, they may do some illegal things to succeed. Check your recent Ann Arbor
News. And if you do succeed, then think about this. You know what Alabama, just for example, Alabama's percentage of out-of-state students is now because of Saban compared to when he was hired, and the money that school brings in because of him, it's unbelievable.
To that point, let me ask you this, Howard: was Jim Harbaugh overpaid?
No,
he was overpaid.
No way. With the state that program was in,
he didn't win until he took a pay cut. There's your proof right there.
That's just a correlation, not causation. But I mean, the way they weren't even selling out the fucking big house by the end of Brady.
and a lot of that money comes. No, you could argue on a larger in the larger context of society. Is it healthy that we have this system attached to our higher education? No, that's a completely different conversation. Absolutely,
and I've argued that, but you guys love it. So, but here's what Trey misses, and I get his point.
No,
But Mark nailed it. These guys don't set out to break the law. They may break some NCAA rules and whatnot in their quest to succeed, but Lee Chatfield is alleged to have broken the law, and the fact that he is alleged to have stolen from a charity or a nonprofit, and it was basically people, scroungy donors who gave to a scroungy politician and then spent it on scroungy strippers and whatever, that's less of an impact on Michigan taxpayers. And so we should pay less attention to what's going on with our elected officials and more attention to what's going on with our football coaches. Well, of course, I want everybody to be scrutinized, but I'll just suggest the number of people we have covering the state house and the number of people we have covering sports in this state is disproportionate. We have more people covering sports and scrutinizing these coaches than we do scrutinizing these politicians.
That's because people care about that more.
Well, I mean,
they do. People care far more about sports than they do politics, or else C-SPAN would be number one channel.
You know why? Because you never know what day is going to be your last. Life is short. You want to escape from that. I mean, that's the fun, and we don't know where we came from. So that's
because it's fun.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
existentialism is difficult business. So yeah, we want to watch a game. We want to watch somebody hit a walk-off homer in 18 innings in L.A.
It wasn't fun to watch the Spartans get beat 49-0.
No, but you've had a lot of fun in your adult life with that program.
It was a blast.
It's been a while. But yes,
you've been out in L.A. watching them play in the Rose Bowl and watching the sunset over the San Gabriel Mountains.
Yeah,
that helps take the sting of what is this thing we're spinning around on.
It's entertainment.
That's what's going on here. Yeah. That's all it is.
You paint a beautiful picture, Picasso. But the thing is, when people steal from us, that's bad. And if you want to read my latest column, it's on Lee Chatfield, and he's got some new trouble.
Yeah.
And he's got somebody who flipped on him. And let me just tell you something, and I think everybody knows this. The person who hurts the most ain't your enemies, it's your friends, because they know your shit and because you told them stuff that you later may wish you hadn't. So check that out. I have a link to that column. At our website, which is mlsoulofdetroit.com, we'll have a link to Shawn's latest column on Jonathan Smith.
I did that on the podcast today, unfortunately.
At free
revealed some stories I should not have. Don't use it against me.
We're now speaking in circles, which means it's probably a good time for our friend Cyrus to, in a nice Halloween-y way, take us out. Thanks to the Cadre Cafe. Thanks to Luke. Check out our bonus episode. Become a Soulmate. It's only $5, and you're going to love this bonus episode. Go to cadrecafe.com for a great time, and go to Luke so that if you don't have a buyout, you don't have to sell out. Cyrus, take us out.
Can you dig that?
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
The Soul of Detroit. A true underdog story.
You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. What?